Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you live to take your immigration questions, educational based. We can't give individual legal guidance here live on multiple social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. So if you have questions about U.S. immigration, put them here. If you're coming from TikTok, what happens is people ask their question over and over again. It gets missed. It's hard to keep track. Best thing to do is to follow us and come on our live on our YouTube page and ask a question there. The YouTube channel is either called U.S. Immigration Questions or U.S. Immigration Answer, something like that. And U.S. Immigration Talk, actually, that's what it's called. And you can search JQK Law and follow us and subscribe so you get updates there, as well as on Facebook, LinkedIn, and all the other places. But the immigration system, we have a big filing fee increases happening. So that's some news. But there's such a little news happening as well. It's hard to keep track. There's so many different things. Immigration is a lot of different things. For example, H-1B is happening. H-1B season. This is a work visa for people with skills and degrees and stuff. That's coming up. And they changed the rules. We got notification of that. You have to have a valid passport at the time of registration. This is new. It's going to affect a lot of people. They've updated the system with regard to registration. So a lot of stuff H-1B going on there. There's stuff going on the border, which is not our specialty. There's stuff going on filing. There's always a lot of stuff going on. So, just put in there. Rabah, thank you so much. You're very kind. Mo Sadek, our regular, says, how does the interview wait time change in 2024 for the immigrant visa I-130? There's just, it's so inconsistent. I don't have any answers about wait times at all. So just give you a heads. I want to ask about wait times. So I don't have an answer for that. Lilywood says, N600 over 21 case is actively reviewed by USCIS in twice meaning. I'm not sure in twice meeting is, but if it's being actively reviewed, it's being actively reviewed. That's just what you got to wait for that to happen. Chaff says hi to you too as well. Thanks for joining. Lakuta says, what's going on here? Please, we talk about U.S. immigration. That's it. Abdullah says, married to U.S. citizen. My work permit is pending over a year. What can I do? Contact USCIS. Maybe do an expedite or something like that. Chrissy says, can you travel on a change of status? No, if you do, it's going to violate. It breaks it up if you do change of status and you travel internationally. I mean, you travel in the U.S., but not internationally. You're welcome, Abdullah Ba. So yes, gotta be careful. Change of status when you're in the U.S. on one status, like you're here on a tourist visa, student visa, work visa, and you're changing it to another visa category, which could be any of those or other ones. While that change of status is pending, if you leave, it voids the case out. So you don't want to leave while change of status case is pending. Abdullah says, married to U.S. I answered that question. Everybody followed us up about the N400. N400 interview based on marriage. Do I need to take my wife with me? Not unless you have an I-751 case pending. If you have an I-751, then no. Alma says, is there any law for immigrants' parents? Maybe. It depends on what the situation is. If you're a U.S. citizen, you apply for them. That might be one thing, but it's too vague a question. We got to know what's going on in your specific case. A says, if my U.S. citizen, I'm guessing spouse, keeps having minor legal issues, does that affect my case and how? It can. Only the real official thing that could get is if there's child, abuse in sexual ways, that could be prevented based on the Adam Walsh Act. But if they get into a lot of stuff, USCIS could castle you about it. So that's a key problematic. Probably not, but it could be. I wouldn't worry about it unless it just adds up to too much. Yurik says, can I apply for SIGIS? I don't do SIGIS, honestly, so I'm not a good attorney to help you with that. Alma Cruz says, with a U.S. citizen child. Alma, I don't know. This is not information about to answer your question. Amanda says, is child permission interfering with how long work permit Social Security come in? No, they're unrelated. Chantel says, are they accepting new job applicants, not renewals? No, not yet. No new ones. Tonio says, as a student on F1, what are my chances of getting an NIW green card? Tonio, that's an impossible question to ask just because you're a student F1 holder has no bearing on NIW, completely unrelated. Now, what did you study? What successes have you had? Are you a grad student? Are you a master's student? Are you STEM? Are you not STEM? Are you doing worthwhile work in your field that's well known? I have articles published about you. You're making a lot of money. You're making pens. It's just a list of stuff I need to know. Just being a student visa doesn't give me any guidance or advice on anything I could tell you. Potentially, you could do OPT afterwards and keep great training and have the proper graduate degrees, maybe. But just having an F1 student is not enough information for me to say anything. Shaf says, I'm a widowed wife of a U.S. citizen. We got married in January from this year. Unfortunately, passed away last month. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm from Morocco and didn't apply for spouse. Can I apply for I-360 for him? Yeah, I think he messaged us. We have had cases where U.S. citizen spouses pass away. You have to do an I-360 directly with the embassy. Each embassy is going to have different procedures. I'm not sure what Morocco's is. I haven't worked with them. Last one I did was the U.S. Embassy Netherlands, for example. Oh, no, in Sweden, for example, where I did this. But should be a good case. You just have a timeline of 2 years, a deadline. You obviously, I'm sorry, your husband passed away on Monday, but there's a 2-year deadline. You just got to get it in then, get the I-360 approved, then do consular processing, and then you got a green card, and you're all set, and you can get citizenship later too. Sebia says, you obviously contact their office. We do handle these cases, Sheffing, so just schedule a consultation. My attorneys can help you with that. Sebby said, I filed the mandamus and finally received the N-400 interview, along with the request for evidence to take to the interview. It's normal, not a request for evidence to take with you to the interview. So not really. When you do lawsuits, they kind of make things up. So in a sense that they just kind of do things that are different. How much does a sponsor have to make for a K-1 visa? Well, it depends on the sponsor and their background, and so you need to check out Form I-864K. The amounts listed for the military are the minimum salary or income amounts for the K-1 visa. After you enter and get married, you have to file Form I-864. The minimum income requirements raised for that. So you just want to get into that one first. It's just 125% of the above the federal poverty guidelines. So you just got to check out Form I-864P and see where the household size is, what the amounts are, and make more than that. That's how you technically do it. Marisol says, can I travel with advanced parole? I have fraud. I still marry TPS. I mean, that's up to you. I'm not sure how you have fraud. I don't know what's going on in your cases. So I wouldn't recommend traveling with having fraud of some kind, but you need to talk to a lawyer in private for the rest of that. Natalie says, is it possible for Canadians waiting for spousal I-130 to apply for F1 visa? It's possible, but it's up to them to let you in. So if you're a Canadian citizen, for example, you get an I-20, you go to the border, but they may or may not let you in. Let's see. Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. God bless you. Thank you, Miriam. Islam says, do you have any info about the Welcome Corps? No, I've never heard of that before. And PK says, my BI asylum appeal is administratively closed. I don't touch those cases. I have no idea. Please, I need a work permit with a family of 4. Excuse me. Not sure how to help you with that, just that information. Noor says, how does it take to process the green card renewal? I don't know. It's up to the government. Can I apply for I-485 immediately after asylum granted without waiting 1 year? That's how the new rules look like, but I'd be hesitant to do that. I'd want to wait, probably file it later because they may come back and deny your case for not being here long enough, even though the new rules say it's really weird. I haven't filed any of these cases, but I'd probably wait longer. But honestly, I haven't filed these cases. I have to research what other colleagues have had. I did have one person contact us who got denied for filing like too early, which is kind of unfair. So that's what I said. Shout out, how much it costs for a widow visa? We don't know anything about you to be able to give a quota fee, and the show we don't go into fees and stuff like that. But you got to email the office, schedule a private consultation, and we could go over it. Please send another email about this. Sucker says, what do you need to have to get an approval for a VAWA application? You need proof that, VAWA could be different things. This widow or spouse I think comes under the VAWA cases, I think so. But if it's abuse kind of VAWA, you have to have evidence or personal statements or police reports. Really depends on your case and what happened. It depends on your personal background. Tonya follows up, PhD student, not STEM. PhD is good, not being STEM is not good, but I'll message you for their information. Yeah, send us your resume or CV, Tonya. And then we do an initial review at no cost. If we don't feel like right off the bat it's doable, we schedule a paid consultation to advise you. But start with that, and maybe something will stand out that'll be helpful. Alma says, is there any law that can help immigrant parents obtain permit with the U.S. citizen children? So the thing is, a U.S. citizen child over age of 21 can apply for the parents, so that's there. But the parents entered without inspection, entered without permission or stuff, they won't be able to get the green card, and they can't get can they get a 6-1 waiver? I think they need to get a 6-1 waiver. So there are stuff, Alma, but it's just best to schedule a private consultation with you and your parents so we can look at what happened and see if there's any exceptions possible for the parents. Chantel says, is it true sibling sponsorship takes more than 10 years? Yeah. My brother sponsored me 10 years ago. Yeah, I get like 10, 20 years, depending on what country you're from, unfortunately. Let's go see what some YouTube questions. I forgot to go back to YouTube. Inspector Sepp says, how much money do you need to have in your bank account to be considered safe and diversity visa interview, or is it not prerequisite at all? Having money in the bank isn't a prerequisite. Having a diploma, a high school diploma, or 2 years of work experience is. Now, if you got more money, the better, but it's not one of the requirements. Amit says, can I apply for a visitor visa while my I-130 is approved? I-84 in processing all the time, so you can apply, but they approve it, not, it's up to them. Mehmet says, my work permit is expiring soon. I-485 not approved yet. What should I do? You should ask for a renewal of the work permit if it's less than 6 months on it. Paranoid Humanoid, good to see you again. Chuck Norris says, do we need to send in wedding pictures for the adjustment of status for K1 visa, even though on my USCIS website, what to submit and say we need pictures, just marriage certificate? Yeah, the more evidence you have, the better. Why not? If it's good pictures, not, if it's some bad pictures, don't send it. But if it look good, then do it. And I'm guessing it looks good. Alan says we are victims of the Kofi lawyer. I'm not sure who that was or what that was about, but I'm sorry that some lawyer ripped you off. I'm guessing they ripped you off. I don't know the details. So. El Tardine says, I have a green card for my marriage, but they sent me a wrong category. How do I fix it? You file a form I-90 and reference that it was you. Out again. Let's see what happens if I stay alive on here or not. Sorry, everybody, for the shoddy internet. That's driving me crazy. Ali says, best lawyer in town. Very kind. Thank you, Ali. Appreciate that. Okay. Hash says, can I travel overseas after lodging naturalization application? Yeah, that's not a problem. Just don't stay out too long. Pending asylum can apply to advanced parole if there's a risk to re-enter. There may be. You got to really plan that out and see if you have to do that. the other software so everyone else can see us as well. Thank you for being patient, all these other avenues. Yeah, Lisa says, I filled out my application for citizenship, but they told me I'm already citizen of my father. You got to get into that, see how you could document it. Casey says, hey, I got my social security number before EAD. Is that normal? Yeah, just happens. LT says, I have a dismissed criminal arrest while being green card holder. How should it affect my future naturalization? Well, you got to bring it up and explain it and have the documentation for it. Original certified copies. Stop spamming the same question over and over again. He's already answered his question. Thank you, Street Docs. I appreciate that. It makes it really hard to keep up what's going on when that happens. Donna says, I did the same. I waited for almost 2 years. What about cases dismissed? I don't know. See the case. Sono says, hello, me and my wife have a green card. Can we file for U.S. citizenship for my son? No, if you have a green card, you can't file for U.S. They have to file for a green card for them, I guess. But depends on how old they're married or not, all that kind of stuff. Now it says, can you switch from B2 to F1 even though you overstayed? No, you have to be in status to be able to change status. You have to maintain a valid status before you can change status. See, Ramon says CR1 priority date August 2022. 6 steps approved January. When can I expect the interview? I don't know. Whenever the embassy has time. That's when you can expect the interview. Timur says, I have a U.S. tourist visa. My employer wants to change how to do that. It's very hard and it's probably not going to be successful, frankly. But you could do potentially an O1 visa if you reach the standards. You could try filing H1B and maybe get a work permit eventually if you have the education standard, if you're chosen in the lottery. There may be some unique circumstances other than that, but with tourist visa changing, it's just not really, it usually doesn't happen. Jaime says, my asylum is approved. What is next? Well, you just wait a little bit, file for green card, and you keep the line moving. I talk with the lawyers. Some people forget to say everything in their asylum application, or they need to do a waiver as part of their green card case. They don't know it. So be very careful. Make sure to just get that together. Fadi says, can we waive travel to Philippines for I-30 due to medical condition? Can we waive travel to Philippines? No, you got to. I'm not sure who's traveling to Philippines, but if you have an embassy appointment, you got to go. I mean, it is what it is. You got to go where you're. Safadi, there's not enough information about the answer. That's kind of out of the blue. That's kind of a weird question. Then he says, divorce. How long after divorce can I remarry my same spouse and he files for me? How long after divorce can I remarry my same spouse if he files for me? I don't know, because that's a weird situation. I got to see if there's anything unique, but essentially immediately. But I don't know. That's such a weird thing that I don't want to just give you an answer. Timur says, a tourist visa shouldn't have an employer, so you probably wouldn't get it. I mean, you could find an employer over here. You haven't find it, but it's no different. How long is processing green card to grant the asylum? I don't know. Just years. It's very slow, but who knows? That's the thing about when you come to these timelines, you gotta ask me. I have no idea. Like, it's not that I don't have an idea. No one has an idea. It's just a possible answer. Alam says, I want to apply for a U visa, victim of crime. I was a victim of assault as a child, have police records about charges. The ECAT lawyer gets into it about a U visa claim. Fady says, I need to visit the future spouse but have medical chronic conditions. So you're saying you have a fiance visa, and part of the requirements of the fiance visa, the I-129F, not the I-130, is that you meet each other. It is possible to waive it. I don't recommend it because it's so hard and time consuming that it ruins the situation. But you know, it's the situation. It's best to start a private consultation. How to instart the process. So schedule a consultation if you want with the office, and we'll look into it and take it from there. Americano says, after DS260 for EB3 in Germany, appointment wait time for interview depends on your priority date and how busy they are. So that's everyone's different. The thing you got to understand is each case is different because it's a different type of case. And each USCIS service center, each USCIS field office, each U.S. embassy abroad, every one of them, like our consulate, will do whatever their bandwidth is. And so we have no idea what their bandwidth is on any day for any officer. So it's impossible for anyone to really know how long a case is going to take. They might have the case right in front of them, but they spill coffee over it and they're waiting for it dry. It takes 3 days, so that's 3 days. Or they ruin it, that that's more documents. Who knows? So there's just no answer to these questions. That's why I'm not giving it. It's not that I don't know. It's just, it's for scheduling a time. My niece says, how long does it take to be interview scheduled? I don't know. Thank you, counselor. You're welcome, Americanu. Jonah says, what does it mean when USCIS asks for more evidence in order to prove the renewal of your green card? And this is exactly what it says. So wait for the renewal, the RFE request for evidence to come in the mail and see what it says. Then says, can I transition from a J1 to a green card through marriage without doing a waiver? If you're subject to a 2-year home residence requirements, you got to get the waiver, else they're not going to approve a green card. So definitely schedule a consultation in the office. We handle waivers regularly. If you got a Fulbright scholarship, it's going to be one of the toughest ones, just heads up, but schedule consultation. Yolan says, I have already a second interview for I-130 in January. How long will it take to hear from USCIS? Well, who knows? When you have a second interview, that means disaster, because that means they don't believe the relationship, and it can be unknown amount of time to fix that. Thanks for the badge, gifter badge, Americano. Vanessa says, I filed an I-130 for my husband in April of last year, and they said there was a wait time 11 months. No, closer to like 14 months. Adriana says, that question, yeah, don't rely on the USCIS timelines. If there's anything I can repeat is when you log into your online account, it's going to say so much time left. Completely unreliable. So unreliable, it's not even worth looking or watching at it. So when it comes to timelines, anyone who gives you a timeline, whether it's the government or lawyer and stuff, I could give timelines that are 6 out of 10 times correct, but what about the other 4 people? What are the 4 out of 10? So it's a worthless endeavor, frankly. Other than I'll give are like 4 to 16 months or 1 to 4 years. It's kind of worthless timelines, but at least it gives a perspective. But it's the only truth that come out there. So if there's any truth about timelines, that you heard it right there. Yassine says, I crossed the border and I married and filed the I-130. How long is it going to take? Well, you cross the border, you enter legally or illegally or without permission or visa. Because if you didn't, then it's going to take a long time because you need a waiver. It's going to take many years. So you should schedule a consultation with our office as soon as possible to see what happened. You shouldn't just be willy-nilly filing I-130s, not knowing what the next steps are, because you might say something in there that's problematic. It's a mess. So that's not a case you do on your own. Schedule a consultation with the office. So I'm asking, if a husband is denied his citizenship, his wife can apply for citizenship. It depends on what the denial was, what relationship the wife has immigration-wise to the spouse. We have to see what's going on. Not enough information. Fina says, if you applied for asylum in Europe and got approved, there's still I don't know about asylum. I don't want to talk about that. R2 says, do I send I-130 and all the relationship evidence at the same time? I do that. CU01 regular says, does the 90-day rule for marriage-based adjustment of status apply for dual intent visa holders at H-1B? There is no 90-day rule in the United States for adjustment of status. It's a case-by-case analysis of someone who really had immigrant intent or not. And these things don't apply for H-1B and L-1s. It's expected that they're going to file adjustment status. It's known. Tanu says, hello, sir. I applied for asylum-based green card in July 2020. And last week, I got an RFU from the local office. Well, at least I'm moving the case forward. But for all the people who ask, like, how long is it going to take? This poor gentleman, or Tanu, I'm not sure if it's gentleman or not. I don't remember his name. But waiting 4 years from an asylum pending asylum-based adjustment status. So it's a disaster to wait that long. Fawad says, hi. And that's not irregular. I have a lot of people wait at least 2 to 3 years to contact me about this. See users, thank you. Fowler says, my asylum is almost about 1 year still pending. There's asylum cases pending 7 years, brother. That's bad. It's a bad situation. All right, let's go back. Can I apply for citizenship after being 3 years married to U.S. citizenship? Yeah, I've been living together with the U.S. citizen for 3 years. Yeah. And you pass the other requirements. Paul says, what state are you in? I'm in California, but our state doesn't matter. All the work we do is done by mail, email, phone calls, and uploads and stuff like that. So we don't need to be in the same state for the cases we handle. Thank you for the perfume, Americanu. Marisol says, how long VAWA takes to be approved? I don't track the time zone. Campaigning asylum, apply to advanced parole. Is there a risk of using? Yeah, there's a risk. Don't do it unless you really need to. Do I need to send my medical with the I-130 as well? No, that's not part of the I-130 package. User 619 says, can a green card holder petition for kids 18 and 14 who overstayed their visa? They could petition, but the kids won't be able to adjust status unless the parent becomes a citizen all of a sudden. And so that's possible, but maybe not in your case. I don't know. So you'd have to set them up for a consular processing. The 18-year-old is going to have a problem because they're starting to accumulate what's called unlawful presence. So the 18-year-old gets to 18 and a half with no status, and they leave to get their green card. They can be banned for 3 years. Now, mind you, the green card F2A category that you'd be in is taking like 4 years right now. So you'd really need to talk to attorney private as soon as possible. User 619, especially because you have an 18-year-old child that's going to start accumulating unlawful presence. Then he says, what to do if a K-1 petitioner had a stroke? I'm sorry to hear that. It doesn't look good and you're already here. Get married as soon as possible in any way, fashion. So you'll lock in the marriage case because then you could do a VAWA case. I'm not a VAWA, a widower case if needed, and then pray for the best. That's about it. But immigration-wise, if you're going to get married, it's lawful marriage, get married. because that'll help you lock in the green card. But I hate to talk about business when this is your personal situation, but that's reality. Can I apply for my citizenship, getting the card through Liberian program? I haven't done that, use that program, so I don't want to talk about it. Yolan said they took a photo and fingerprints during I-130 interview. Is that okay? I mean, I never seen that. It depends. Was it I-130, I-485 interview? In general, when you go for an interview, they take biometrics for everybody just to make sure you're that person, actually. So it's not a big deal. Leguda says, how long does the ministry processing take? I don't know. No one knows. Road says, can I go into depth of the I-130 expedite example of financial hardship? Not here, but you can try with the government. Tanu says, but sir, online status update to case is ready to be scheduled for an interview. That doesn't mean anything. Just wait. Navi says, please respond. I need help. I did respond to everyone's asked questions. Yolan, Tanu says, will they waive the interview any chance? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not in charge of that. C says, can those who enter in the visa waiver program adjust status based on marriage? Marriage after 6 days minimum. If you're married to a citizen, you can. But if you're married to a green card holder, you can't adjust status on the visa waiver program. If someone overstayed their visitor visa 20 years ago, can they still be denied a new visitor visa? Yeah, they could potentially have a 10-year ban too. Legitu, I think we answered that question. Yeah. So Legitu asked the same question. I don't have answers on timelines and stuff like that. It's very inconsistent. So we got a few more minutes. Let's go to Instagram really quick. My brother's wife. Okay. Dr. Condis says, please, why are embassies not scheduling interviews for F categories current? That's a good question. I don't know. It's very tough. Just says, my brother's wife pregnant with a residence. I already answered that question. I don't. You can schedule a private consultation where you can talk more detailed, unique to your case. But essentially for tourist visa, you just tell them why you want to come to the United States. It has to be lawful reason, and then it's up to them, really. Take to get someone to get to USA if you're married to a green card holder. Right now, it's like 4 years, if not more, but that could change at any time. So the married to a green card holder process, unfortunately, got out of control. It's backed up like 4 years. And then the embassy, who knows how long they'll take to schedule an interview, and after interview, if they'll approve it immediately or how long they'll take. So timelines on that are unfortunately out of whack. So this is not a good situation. We're about to end the show. If y'all have one or two more last questions, let me know. I'm immigration lawyer John Castravi. I'm headquartered in Los Angeles. We handle cases from across the world. Our location does not matter. We focus on two types of cases. One type of case really is cases where people have passion. They're passionate about their family. They get married. They want to bring their parents here, and they're passionate about the work that they do. They're top level, and they're really good at it. We help those who have those kind of passions with their sports, entertainment, education, business, whatever it is, come to the United States. So if you got passion, you want to start a business, you're really good at something, you fell in love, those are the cases we do because we like working with passionate people. We're passionate what we do. If you put our JK Law in my name, you'll see immigration. My last 10 years of life, other than my wife and kids, I've just been focused on being as good as could be as an immigration lawyer at expertise. So we want to have clients just like that, and just give you a heads up. All right, we got a couple more questions. We'll call it a day. Sanyut says, my husband is 34, didn't apply for selective service. What happens to his N400? It doesn't matter after 30, 31, doesn't matter. How long to become a U.S. citizen for LPR? 3 to 5 years, depending on what kind. Most of us 5 years. I have a detailed video on YouTube. Type in JQK Law citizenship timeline. You'll find the best video on the internet about it. What is it now under Section 214B? That means immigrant intent. It's just basically now they don't want to give you a visa. Let me double check. Is that 214B or is the other one? 214B. What is rejection 214B? Is that right? Yeah. So essentially, they're afraid you come stay in the United States and not go back home, or they deny you based on 214B because it's easier to deny there. They don't have to explain themselves, but the real reason for something else. That's possible. So just one who says, I do not know why you're not supporting. You mentioned our Instagram question answers when past you told the consulate's useless. Just one, two, three. I did explain it. You asked your question multiple times, so please don't come at me like that. You missed the answer. The reality is, what do they say? What do you want me to say? Go lie? And what do you want me to say in this public place? Say this, and don't be honest about this. You got to think about what you're asking me. So at the end of the day, it's tourist visa. You want to go do tourist visa stuff. I don't know anything about your family, so I can't give you unique data other than it's a tourist visa. You say, I want to go visit the U.S., I have family, and then they either approve it or they don't. There's not much to add to that. The what we immigration lawyers, at least my office adds to tourist visas, and I'm not saying you do this, but people think that they need to make up a story or and that creates problems. So my job is to stop them from doing that. The secondly, alternative issue is people don't pay attention when they're filling out the application, particularly Form DS-160 for a tourist visa. and they just like answer them quickly with misspellings and incorrect info, and they may get the visa approved. But 2-3 years, they apply for another visa, they apply for a green card or something else, and they come back and see the application is incorrect. So what your mother-in-law says in the interview doesn't matter, because despite what consular officers tell me, they do 150 interviews a day. They only got 2 minutes to talk with them. I don't think they're really listening. They already got their decision made up, although they always tell me they don't like when people say that. But so when you tell me what to say, that's not what's important. What's important is don't make sure to fill out the forms correctly. Make sure to keep consistent in your story and honest. And so that's what we need to focus on. That's a bigger explanation. And that's what I want people on here. But that's what it's about. So I wish you all the best. God bless. Be safe. We'll be back again next Tuesday live. I'm losing my voice. Info@jklaw.com. Visit jklaw.com. Contact this page, and we can take it from there. God bless everyone. Be safe, and I'll see you next week. Oh, actually, not next week. It's a holiday next week, so it's a Persian holiday. So I won't be here. See you in 2 weeks, and my voice is giving out, so I gotta go. Bye bye.